The papers are right here. It's time for us to get into the papers, and let's check out what the headlines for the papers are.
Of course. Let me take this one. From the Mirror, we have Yusuf Basiga. Records in women's football equally important. That's what he has to say. And also 2 in court for robbery of electronic gadgets. 2 others for receiving them. That's on the page 5 of the Daily Guide. And also it says cloves steal spotlight in bid for vaginal tightening solutions. That's what we have on the front page of the Mirror. The Mirror. That's what we have on the front page of the Mirror. The Mirror. And also on the back page, we have some sports stories there. It says Abdul Rashid Saminu, Ghanaian athlete. You have his picture there, so you can grab a copy of the Mirror for this morning and then have a read for yourself.
All right, so on the front page of the Daily Graphic Weekend Special, throat cancer, beware of the risk factors. Survivors sound alarm bell, and I think that's a very interesting headline there. And if you want to read it, it's on page 5. Transport fare increment illegal, GRTCC. And cocoa board mining firm entangle over destruction of cocoa farms. And at the back of the Daily Graphic Weekend Special, we have securing the future through revival of Colts football.
Okay, so I'm moving straight to the Daily Guide now. On the front page, we have all set for Ejiso NPP race. Also, some transport stories there on page 6 of the Daily Guide. It says, don't pay unapproved fares. This is from the GPRTU. And some rather sad news coming in as first female GPAC boss passes on. And that story is on page 6 of the Daily Guide. Also, it says, SNIT Deputy Director General resigns. And that story is on page 3. Some other sad stories. Student 19 dies in attempt of abortion, and that is on page 3 of the Daily Guide. I would like to take that story briefly before we continue. So it says student 19 dies in attempted abortion. The story is from Daniel Waidai. It says the Doma Ahenko police in the Bono region are investigating a circumstance leading to the death of a female student of the Doma Senior High School who was reported dead after attempting to abort a pregnancy. A rather sad one there. It goes on to say the body of the deceased, identified as Abigail Chirima, aged 19, has been deposited at the Doma Presbyterian Hospital for preservation while investigations into the demise continue. According to the police report, the mother of the deceased, Matilda Chirima, from Jericho, a suburb of Doma Ahinko, reported the death of her daughter to the police on April 4th, 2024 at about 6:30 p.m. Accompanied by Nana Atubia Jaba, Madame Chirima stated in the report that her daughter died as a result of attempted abortion, which was facilitated by her alleged boyfriend, one Philip Adai, who is in police custody as we speak. According to Madame Chirima, Philip is alleged to be Abigail's boyfriend and was responsible for the pregnancy. She said, after learning about the pregnancy, Philip bought Abigail some drugs for her to abort the pregnancy. Madame Chirima said after taking the drugs, her daughter complained of abdominal pains. When interviewed, this is a quote, she says, when interviewed, she disclosed she was pregnant, and the above-mentioned suspect bought her medicine to abort it. She was, however, rushed to the Doma Presbyterian Hospital for treatment, but was pronounced dead shortly after arrival, the police report said. The report also indicated that the hospital authorities confirmed the death to the police and revealed that she passed on while receiving treatment at the hospital. Consequently, the complainant, Madame Chirima, led the police to the arrest of the suspect, Philip Adai, who is currently in police custody helping with further investigations. So that's what we have from that story. As student 19 dies in attempt of abortion. That's on the page 3 of the Daily Guide. Also, let me just take this one before we continue. The first female GPAC boss passes on. That's on page 6 of the Daily Guide. So let me just go there quickly. GIPC, right? GIPC. So, first female of GIPC passes on. The story is by Ebenezer Kofi Amponsa. So it reads, communication specialist and former CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, Mawena Ajo Tabura, has passed on. A statement issued by the Dumo, Beho, and allied families on April 12, 2024 said she died in the evening of Wednesday, April 10th, 2024, after a recent period of illnesses. Professor Ernest Dumont, the Dumont, Beho, and allied families announced with deep sorrow the passing of their beloved daughter, Mrs. Mawena Trebra Ni Dumont. Funeral arrangements will be announced in due time. The family requests utmost privacy at this time. It added, Mawena was the sister of the late Kobna Dumont, renowned for his work at the BBC and multimedia group, Dr. Koshi Dumont, a medical practitioner based in the United States. She was the eldest of 3 children, born to socialist and former Electoral Commission member Professor Ernest Dumont and late Mrs. Cecilia Dumont. Mawena was the first female CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, that's the GIPC, and held prominent roles at Newmont, Ghana, and MTN, serving as the corporate service executive. She also served as the spokesperson for the team of specialists by the National Democratic Congress, that's the NDC, tasked with offering counsel and support to government efforts during the COVID-19 pandemic. Mawena is survived by her husband, Divine Treba of the Ghana Air Force, and her daughter, Catherine Joy Treba. So that's it for that story.
All right, so still on the Daily Guide, on the News 1 Entertainment, and that's the entertainment and lifestyle segment of the Daily Guide. Sally had 5 miscarriages, and that's by Prior Tietia, who is her husband. And we also have our boat collided with a canoe, and that's by one of the actors or witnesses of the tragic incidents of Junior Pope.
I have The Spectator, your weekend companion, Saturday, April 13th, 2024, celebrating beauty of Muslim women in hijab. That entire story is on page 12. Sikamine Palava, page 5, has that story of The Spectator. Check your land title registration. Now pages 7 to 10 and 18 to 21 respectively holds those stories. Sexual lock is medical, not spiritual. This is Dr. Constantini stating that. That is on page 3 of The Spectator. And on the back of Spectator Sports, a call on security services. That is Andrew Norte who's stating that. And then Zito, Dreams FC feat must inspire smaller clubs. That is all for The Spectator newspaper. And then I'll be moving on to Weekend, GhanaWeekend.com. Yeah. So, Blue Clouds, right. So, celebrity news, we have Blue Clouds Entertainment unveils new artiste, that is OSB Swagger. And also in other news, Bob Risky jailed 6 months for defacing Naira notes.
And we also have here, may we not die in pursuit of our daily bread. Jackie Appiah mourns Junior Pope. Frankie shines on her debut song, Hold My Body. And celebrity news again, Nanki unleashes a gust of seduction in music video for new single, Do Road.
All right, still on some celebrity news on Ghana Weekend here. It says, budget cuts shouldn't cost lives. Jocelyn Duma on Junior Pope's death. Also, rap legend Jaru teamed up with NGO to build classrooms in Ghana. Still on some Junior Pope stories, it says, Junior Pope is alive, president of the Actors Guild of Nigeria.
All right, Let's head over to BBC. We actually have a very interesting story there. Sudan civil war, the children living between starvation and death in the fore. And there's a picture of a woman there. So it says, the woman with sad eyes and quiet voice is just one of the millions of people living in camps for those forced to flee their homes in Sudan, where civil war broke out a year ago between the army and an armed parliamentary group. The country now faces what the UN says is the world's worst hunger crisis. I've actually heard this on the radio before, and I mean, it's so devastating what these people are going through. And my heart goes out to the women, especially the children.
Children. The children are always,
Like,
women and children
you know,
are always
always
at the
in
suffrage end when it comes to these problems.
You know, and you know, this also takes me back to there's a quote or a phrase that people always say: women and children are always the problem of men. Two men fighting. Like these are
always end up in the middle.
Men cause the wars, and the women and children are the ones suffering.
Yeah, right.
You know, but my
They
heart
always
goes out
suffer.
to them, and I hope that this is sorted out soon.
Quite
But if you
soon.
want to read that story, it's on bbc.com. Yeah.
And I have on Citi Newsroom, MOH, that is Ministry of Health, clears 14 out of 182 containers with essential medicine stuck at Tema Port. If you watched CNR yesterday, even on our 2020 news, Fred Duho brought us that entire story and how it's been going. So let me read about 3 stanzas for you to have a better understanding. The Ministry of Health has received 14 out of 182 containers at the Tema Port holding essential medicines for antiretroviral, tuberculosis, and malaria treatments donated by the Global Fund. The essential medical commodities, including antiretroviral drug for HIV and AIDS patients, were stuck at the Tema Port for almost a year due to the government's inability to settle third-party fees. And Alhaji Hafiz Adam, the Chief Director of the Ministry of Health, said approximately 168 more containers are to be cleared. These containers, which will cost around 17 million Ghana cedi to clear, contain non-medicine commodities such as bed nets and rapid diagnostic test. At least there's a way forward for
Right.
especially the ARVs,
Right.
because I only hope that it does not expire.
Yeah, it's true. It's
That
true.
is my only hope,
Yeah.
that they do not, because it's been there since last year. So that's our prayer.
And one thing I find interesting about this story is the fact that they took pictures.
They took pictures.
Yes, they took pictures for the news.
For the news, yes,
To
definitely.
try like, hey, we have done this. Look at
It's an
us
achievement.
doing
When it
this.
could have been done early on.
Yes, they took pictures. Well done.
Anyway, the last story on the Citi Newsroom, it says a 24-year-old fetish priest remanded for sharing false information, and the story is by Hafiz Tijani. Let me just take you through the story briefly. It says a 24-year-old Mason and self-proclaimed fetish priest, Emmanuel Frimpong, has been remanded in police custody by the Kwadasu Circuit Court for disseminating false information about the VIP Jeune Company Limited's operation. He was arrested after a video he made went viral on social media. In the video, he forcefully claimed that the company's drivers were required to undergo a ritual involving being buried alive in a casket before being allowed to operate in the company's buses. He also subsequently arraigned in the Kwadasu. He was subsequently arraigned in the Kwadasu Circuit Court. Presiding Judge, His Honor Stephen Kumi, stated that the accused person's actions could harm the company's reputation and mislead the public. He has been remanded in police custody and is scheduled to reappear in court on April 26, 2024. It goes on to say, after the proceedings, the VIP Company Limited's general manager, Adakabre Frimpong Manso, warned that the company would not pursue legal actions against anyone whose actions threatens its reputation. In recent times, people have been going on social media and making serious allegations against VIP, which is misleading, untrue and somewhat exaggerated, and VIP does not have the requisite response on the same platform that people are making such claims against the company. So I am directed by the VIP directors as general manager to warn the public through your esteemed media to desist. VIP is a law-abiding company and an ethical company that accepts objective criticism of our operation for which we will improve, but VIP will not accept unsubstantiated allegations against the company which impact negatively on our operations, he stated. So that's by Adakabre Frimpong Manso. Ladies, that's all we have by way of newspaper review this morning on Breakfast Daily.